Hello and very happy new year. I have now been working for my own company, Roofcat, for about 7 weeks. Week 6, I took a week off because it was a Christmas holiday, so it was a perfect time to take a little bit of rest and just recover. Also, clean up our office, clean up this space a little bit. That was very helpful. And now I have some very exciting plans for 2022. Next week, I'm going to go to Spelkollektivet. I may not be pronouncing that right, but it's a co-living and co-working space in Sweden, which is really fully focused on indie game developers. So there's going to be a lot of different indie game developers from various countries, I guess from various walks of life, coming together there, working on their own games, and then mingling, just kind of hanging out, I think. I've not been there yet, but it seems very exciting. I've been watching it for over a year. I've seen it come by on Facebook for a while. Now I'm very excited to actually go there myself. So that's honestly awesome. I'm really looking forward to that. And then speaking of something else that I'm really looking forward to, the biggest game developers conference in the world is called GDC, which stands for Game Developers Conference, so that makes sense. And it takes place every year in San Francisco. Obviously, the last couple of editions did not take place physically because COVID. But now they are planning to have another physical edition, or at least a hybrid edition, with some of it digital, some of it physical, in March of this year. And if that goes through, let's really hope it does, then I will be there. I'm going to be at my first ever Game Developers Conference. I've heard a lot about it, and it just sounds like it's going to be super interesting. And I'm not even just going to attend, I'm actually going to go there as a speaker as well. I'm going to be talking about the time I was working on bosses, designing bosses for Sackboy: A Big Adventure. And then I'm also going to be together with a number of friends of mine talking about how to get into the games industry. So if all of that goes well, if COVID allows for it and everything, then yeah, I'm going to go to GDC in America in March, and that's going to be awesome. All right, so let's get back to actually talking about this new game that I'm making and how everything's progressing. So the first of the four questions that I'm going to ask myself is, how am I feeling about the game? And currently, I'm actually feeling a little bit mixed about the state of the current version of the game. And then I'm specifically really talking about the gameplay, how that's been going, because I've been playing it a while and I've been just thinking about how the strategy and the replayability works. And right now, it feels like there are some problems with it. Like, I've had a bigger problem, and I've just applied a couple of more hacky little patch fixes to it, which haven't really fully solved it. It's not been a full proper solution, and it's not been implemented as just a really nice singular feature. There's like a couple of different things that you can now do, and I have I think, pretty solid, pretty cool idea on how to actually grab a bunch of these, put them together, and make it into a much better individual solution. So I am not super excited about the game as it is right now, but I am actually really excited on some of the new ideas I have, where I might want to make the combat a little bit more strategic still. And yeah, I'm really excited to see how that turns out. Second question is, how am I feeling about the processes, the way we've been doing things, anything like that? And we have taken some characters through the character pipeline, the workflow that we wanted to try out. It's gone back and forth a couple of times between me and the artist, and I think it's gone pretty well. I think we've got some pretty cool characters that we have made now, which I will show you soon. Yeah, there's still some improvements to be made. Probably we can improve the workflow a little bit yet, but it's nice to already have gotten to some characters that are semi-final, which is pretty exciting. On a slightly lesser note, I have been doing an absolutely terrible job at getting up at a reasonable time. I somewhat blame it on having taken a week holiday, but it's also because I keep thinking and going back and forth between this idea of whether I want to do a little bit more work in the evening and the night, or whether I want to just get up at like a normal time and do kind of a 9 to 5 or at least 10 to 6 type of schedule. And because I still find it very difficult to make a decision on that, because sometimes I work very well in the evening and the night. Sometimes I don't do anything in the evening and the night. I just play some games or something. So that's a little bit tricky. And then it also makes it a little bit difficult to get up if I feel like, oh, I didn't do anything last night, so now I want to get up early. But then, you don't have anybody waiting for you. With an office job, I always could get up whenever the office would require me to, because even though I might not be feeling it, I have to get up. There's an immediate need for it. And working for myself, there's not. I can get up at 1 o'clock if I want to, and nobody will be nagging me that I'm late or anything, other than myself. So I guess I've got to nag myself a little bit more. I really hope that at Spell Collectivet, maybe I'll try and get into a bit of a better rhythm, but that is obviously wishful thinking. I have to actually try and do it. I have to actually get myself to either wake up at the right time or make sure I do work in the evening at a consistent time. But I don't really know anything about how Spell Collectivet is going to go yet, so I'm not going to make super big plans for that. I'm just going to try and adjust to it once I'm there, and then see if I can make something happen. Question numero tres. What did we actually get done in the weeks since the previous video? So in week 5, I worked a lot on trying to get things ready so that we could really start making these backgrounds. And for that, I first tried to draw out a bunch of different houses that these Atlanteans might live in, trying to get them a little bit inspired by the sea, by shells, by things like that, so that they really fit into this theme of this being like an ocean-inspired civilization. Then I also worked on a 3D scene. I actually tried to make it as a kind of visualization for how big things might be, a little bit of a reference for scale. And I placed a bunch of houses in there. See, yeah, just how big the island would need to be for there to be enough of a big city there and everything. Now, the game itself is going to be 2D, so none of this is going to actually be used in the game other than just as references. After I worked a bunch on all of these things to get things ready for the backgrounds, I worked on the pitch, trying to make the pitch presentation ready so that I can actually start talking to publishers, showing them what the game's all about. And I'm pretty happy with how the pitch presentation is right now. It is pretty well descriptive, I think, of what the game is. The only downside is that some of the numbers are not correct anymore. I've had to update the planning. I feel like planning is something that just always a living document. It just keeps getting updated every time. But yeah, so I want to still update that a little bit, but other than that, I'm pretty happy with how that pitch has been going. Then I took week 6 off for Christmas holiday and everything. And finally, this last week, I have been working a lot on getting things ready to submit to events. Because there's going to be a couple of events around GDC, which might be a very good opportunity for me to get in touch with some publishers or maybe other just business partners, get to know other people in the industry, always great. So I've been trying to get things ready to basically submit some footage, gameplay footage, screenshots, everything like that, to events so that hopefully they will think my game is cool and that they want to showcase it there. Obviously, everything's still very much work in progress, so me and the artist, we worked hard on trying to get some of that looking a little bit better. Then I took a number of screenshots, and I still have to make some gameplay footage, but I also worked a lot on trying to make the turtle look better. That's the giant turtle that you're traveling with. Here you can see a little bit of the iterations that the turtle has had. It started as this creepy looking turtle. I only made the front because that's all you get to see in the battle screen. But then I realized you might want to see a little bit more. Still pretty creepy, but then it ended up being this one for quite a while. This has probably been like this for about a year. I made these versions while it was still my side project. And then last week I worked on making it a little bit more worked out, and then making a little bit of more mechanical shell, which I think is interesting. I'm pretty happy with how the design is going. It's definitely not final, but yeah, it's in a better place than it was a week ago anyway. So that's good. Almost forgot to mention another really cool thing that we managed to do since the previous time, which is we worked out some of the characters a little bit more. I basically made the line art, sent them to the artist, and she worked it out. She colored it in, rendered it a little bit, and yeah, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out, and I hope you like them as well. Fourth and final query: what is going to happen next? What I'm going to focus on? First, I'm going to focus on getting ready to move to Sweden for 2 months, because that's how long I'm going to be at Spell Collectivet. So I'm going to be packing, getting everything ready on my laptop and everything like that. Then I'm also going to be still working on getting the footage, getting things ready to submit to these events around GDC. That is probably all that I'm going to be able to do within the next week. I'm also going to get my COVID booster shot, which I've heard a lot of people have a pretty strong reaction to for at least like a day. So probably won't get actual work done on the game itself this week. But then the week after, when I'm actually at Spell Collectivet, I really want to try and implement that cool new gameplay idea I have to make the combat more strategic, to implement that more solid solution that I was talking about. I'm really excited to see if it actually works as well as I imagine it does. If it does, then I'm super, super excited to play it and share it with people. If it doesn't, I just need some more iterations. But yeah, we'll see how that turns out. I also definitely need to start approaching publishers, or at least making like big lists of, hey, these are the publishers I want to talk with. But that's less exciting. I want to just make my game. This is like what every indie game developer feels like, probably. But yeah, I have to do both anyway. So with all of that said, thank you so much for checking in on my progress again. It was about 3 weeks since the previous video, and I probably want to stick with that, have another 3 weeks before I make the next one. Partially because when I'm at Spell Collectivet, they actually have Thursday streams where the people that are in Spell Collectivet, they actually share some of the work that they've been doing. So hopefully I'll join some of those, and then you'll get some more progress, some more updates of me in other formats, I guess. Maybe even share some gameplay in one of those. And then also, making one of these videos takes about a day. I try to keep them simple, but it's still, a lot of work recording everything, editing it, all of that stuff. So yeah, having a little bit more time between videos hopefully gives me just a little bit more time to also spend on the game, which is nice, which is obviously the main thing that I'm doing. So that's pretty cool. Thanks again for watching, and if you want to like, subscribe, all of that stuff, that would be awesome. But also, if you want to join my Discord, I'm still trying to make that a better place. It's still very much in progress, but someone actually joined from a YouTube video, and they joined my Discord, and that was unexpected because I'm pretty sure my videos are not pushed all that far by the algorithm, but it was very motivating. It actually makes me think that I really should start updating my Discord server. So if you join as well, then I'll be motivated even more, and then maybe I'll finally do it. That would be exciting. So thanks again. I hope to see you on one of these Spell Collectivet Thursday streams, or maybe I will see you in 3 weeks in another video.